space, new place. Hello all, welcome. I'm just waiting to see if anyone pops in the live stream before I start going in depth on what's been occurring. This is just a little personal update and some insight coming online. So I hope everyone's been well. Let me go ahead and smudge. Just setting up sacred space. You are coming in. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome. I'm back. So I'm just anchoring some light into this space, place, and time. Hello, Bridget. Welcome. So, I'm going to start out just with a little bit of a personal update and then kind of go into some insights of what's been occurring right now. Stuff coming through, really big focal points to discover and to go into. So I welcome you all for being here with me. We're going to just go ahead and cleanse our fields here, setting up that sacred space as usual. You know the routine. We're going to just extend this to our multi-dimensional connections and our multi-dimensional spaces as we clear, cleanse, align our soul and bring all this forward now. So, hope everyone's doing okay. At this point in time, there's been a lot of big changes coming through, and it seems to be very much so personal changes and very much so day-to-day with the routines, the operations, what's going on, living moment to moment. I went offline for a while, obviously. Many people were witness to my personal testimony video and saw that it was deleted. Well, I did that, no one did that, but there was a lot of things that I had to clear and a lot of other factors that occurred that made me have to go offline for a while. And that's a lot of clearing and a lot of allowing aspects of me to return and coming to peace with many different parts of my life and many different parts of what's going on in the world and a lot of different things. So I'm back now. I'm back. I actually put up a May 2020 update on SoundCloud, so I'm doing more audio stuff now, just for personal reasons, wanting to show up on audio more than showing up on face. So if you click the link in the description box, my SoundCloud's down there, and there's a lot of stuff I'll be posting on SoundCloud. Just it's kind of hopping between the various platforms to kind of find what works for myself with being able to still suit up and show up and create, but in a different way. That's what this big change is calling for, is through the shifts and adjustments, we're really finding how we show up in the world, how we create, how we manifest, how we serve in all new different ways, shapes, and forms. So I talked about in that update that kind of realized that we came down into this reality as source. We came down into this reality whole. We came down into this reality without really having to do much. But there was a whole lot we needed to do to land at this point where we get to and we go, man, I really didn't have to do a whole lot. And it sounds strange, but it was a big realization for me. That all of this entire experience, because, you know, part of this reality is the combat between external and internal, and closing that gap until it's all internal, and then the show arrives, right? And then you're here, and then everything is an internal job. There's nothing external of us, but there are still many things in place that are going to force us to focus on the external and focus on what's out here to try to change what's out here or try to do this when it's all just an internal job. And it's been a very now back to basics, back to a very simplified way of living, which is the way it's supposed to be. The biggest thing that's coming forward, because there's many pieces I wanted to talk about and I'm kind of just reading the collective right now, is we're basically removing everything that has been separate from us or has created separation is now coming forward for review, and it's going to come in closer and closer until you accept it and let it in. whatever it may be. This whole kind of, so the fight, the war, the outbreak is a big macro representation of us fighting our higher selves. It is the external reflection of us battling our soul. And by us battling our soul, I mean the ego battling the soul. And basically having to shed every remnants of separation so the higher self can be embodied fully. This time right now, that there's right now, since everyone's waking up, everyone's diving into truth. Okay, so everyone's diving into, is this X, Y, or Z? Is this X, Y, or Z? Is this good? Is this bad? Is this dark? Is this light? Is this person in my life dark? Is this person in my life light? Am I dark? Am I light? Okay. Zoom all the way up to source and everything is light. So a lot of this surrendering process is surrendering that nothing, good and evil constructs are all man-made. Okay. Everything in our reality up to this point and from this point on forward is a manifestation of us that we chose consciously to manifest. What needs to be let go of now, and I talk about this in the May update, and I'm saying this needs to be let go of, and I even need to watch that because it doesn't. It's everyone's journey, okay? But what I'm finding that helps me the most is the representation of happening for me or to me. So this reality was created so we came down here and we could evolve as a soul. And we can evolve as a species here, as the human species, to grow and to evolve and to expand. So as a result of that, everything is happening for your evolution. Now, I recognize there's some messed up things that have happened in this life. And there are still messed up things that are occurring right now. And we could go out and we could sit there and talk about all that stuff, and look at it. And we have to look at it to some level or degree in order to bring it in and to integrate it and to recognize that it's just all within. So there's been a lot of discussion that's been coming forward from collective streams, like people thinking it's the end of the world. It is not. Once again, we're going into this. It's not the end of the world. We're not dying. We're not going anywhere. What that is a representation of is dying to our higher selves. It's dying to the best version of ourselves. It's dying to our soul every single day. I've woken up every single day and had that moment where I go, oh crap, I'm not going to wake up tomorrow. I even had, spirit guides come in and say something, whatever, It's because what it's causing is me to die to my higher self every single day and die to my highest truth. And it's not a death, it's a surrender. What it is, it's surrendering and letting go of the idea of what we thought this reality was, the idea of what we thought our reality should be, and allowing the soul to take over and to take control. So this brings up a lot of fear because then people start to go into the controllers and start to go into the mind control and things of that nature. What you're making space is for your soul to come down, to come through, and when it comes in body, we don't have really choice anymore when it comes down to the soul. Because there is a path in evolution that our higher selves chose for us, that we chose. One can look at it as predestined, one can look at it as manifestation. But there's things that we chose to consciously go through, individually and collectively, and it's now an allowance of surrendering to that process and allowing the soul to come through and to be here and to do what it's supposed to do. A lot of us, starseeds, we chose to come down here and to be guides. We chose to come down into this reality and to be the helpers and be the shakers and the movers in whatever way, shape, or form it is for us. This comes back to no one is coming down to save us, guys. We are the ones that are doing that. But it's not from a context of the savior role. So it's not coming from a distortion of Christ consciousness or anything like that. It's coming out from a role that we're here to make that change. Whether we see that change occur in this lifetime or not is really solely dependent on what we're creating and manifesting for ourselves. A lot of people are really talking about now, like, the second wave of this external thing occurring in the pandemic. At the end of the day, nothing is predestined. It's all about what you create and what you consciously create. And so what's happening now is every single day, moment to moment, especially if you're in the embodiment phase and you've consciously chosen to embody your higher self in this lifetime and to be a guide or to be a way shower, everything that you hold separate and really, really deep, whether it be pain, trauma, programming, needs to come up and it needs to go. And that means that if you're not willing to look at something, so I'm going to personalize this in here because this is what I've seen as a reflection of me in my life. I'm not going to state that this is for everyone. But for me, everything that I need to let go of within deep programming, deep pain, deep traumas, judgments, it's all going to push in on me until I have no choice but to elevate my vibration in accordance to whatever it is that's being reflected to me, and I integrate it and I allow that process to occur. And be stripped of all judgment, be stripped of all fixations. So, fixed realities, okay. Anything that is, with the freedom codes that have come forth as of last year, and how they're integrating more, anywhere that you hold a fixed state of consciousness is going to be ripped to shreds, so you can be forced to shift the perspective and to expand your focus on the way you look at it. It's multidimensionality. So anywhere that you are yes, no, black or white, if you've accessed those freedom codes and you're choosing freedom of yourself and embodiment, all of those fixed states of reality are going to get completely broken down until it's no longer fixed. So if we look at like a fixed framework of a home, it's like basically the universe is going to come in and strip down all those walls until it's malleable, until you can start to see it from all different angles and perspectives. And so this is releasing judgments. This is having to let go of the way that you viewed things once and allow yourself to be, I want to say moldable, but not to the point where someone is grooming you and molding you into something. It's actually your higher self coming down and helping you and guiding you and assisting you in being able to see things from new eyes and from new perspectives. And what this does is this allows the heart to open and to fully see and to fully know. This is remembering. It's coming down fully here, now, and being stripped of everything so you can remember all that we are. And recognize we have a lot of power and a lot of control. So recognizing that things like this external event that's occurring right now, these are collective wild cards that come down as a result to see what we're going to do if we're really going to keep creating certain things into our world. It's because of what we're called to do. It's what we are here to create. We're essentially here to be able to control our manifestation powers and to get it right. Okay. Whether we get it right in this timeline or not, more to be revealed. It's very moment to moment, but it's a matter now of focusing on what do you want to create for yourself and for the collective. There's a lot of truth out there right now that's being exposed, and people dive into, is this person good, is this person bad, is this whatever, da, da, da. The good and the bad doesn't exist in the higher constructs. That's something that was man-made and man-created, so we have to dissolve that by unifying and then becoming one with everything. This is a part of the surrendering process. And the biggest thing is that if we focus on anything as a fixed state of reality, so this is in this polarity or this is in that polarity, what's going to happen is you're going to now have to be forced to see it from the other polarity in order to integrate it, and then it all becomes one. So if you're viewing, something as innately X, Y, or Z, you're now going to have to switch to the other end of the spectrum to be able to look at it from a whole new light, to be able to then see it from all shades and perspectives in order to integrate. A lot of us are realizing now that everything that we thought was good or bad is actually, there's shades of gray in between, and what it's doing is it's now really adding this multi-dimensional perspective on the way that we view everything in our world and everything in life. There's been a lot of battle happening in the lightworker community over, is this person true light, is this person false light, is this X, Y, or Z, da, 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 da. What that's doing is it's creating a lot of discord. And at the end of the day, when you recognize all that you are, you're made up of all those aspects, and you allow yourself to be who you are authentically. So now, if there are people that are out there, okay, that are using themselves to harm others or whatever that may be, that's something that you need to go into focus on, and I'm not trying to justify them and what they're doing. But what I'm trying to state here is that at the end of the day, we all chose to come down here to play our roles. And so a lot of this now is surrendering to our role. It's surrendering to who we are. Because when we create fight of who we are, what we're called to do, or what we're called to create, that resistance creates a lot of energetic butt whooping. Okay, so everyone serves their role. Every cog in the machine needs to work in unison in order for the entire machine to work. This unification effort is not about, as I see it, this is my perspective, the unification effort has nothing to do with that we are all one, because we are. What I'm saying is it's not from the sense of like the New World Order, where it's like one government, one, no. What it is it's recognizing that we're all different shades, different contrasts, we come from different backgrounds, different cultural beliefs, but what we do is we allow that person to be their soul. We allow that person to be who they are on their journey, and we allow them to grow and to evolve and to expand and to let their higher selves do what it needs to be done right now, versus us stepping in and interfering, because that's a form of manipulation and control. When we try to change someone else, or we try to project what we think about them onto other people, that's not, the unification effort isn't we all become one and we're all just one shade and everything is just white. Like, and I'm stating that from a sense of not like some like weird racist thing, but from a sense of like when we look at a painting, like a blank canvas, we're not all just a blank canvas. We're all an individual piece of the mosaic that comes together that builds the beautiful picture that is this world. And we allow that person to be who they are, and we allow things to occur that need to occur. But it's also always an inside job in what we focus on. So with things like the stuff going on in the world, how can we shift this? Well, continually speak your truth, but recognize too that you are the creator of your reality, and as a collective, we can end this entire thing by not allowing it to occur anymore, by not allowing ourselves to continually manifest those things. And I know that it's very troublesome to try to get everyone on the same page with trying to manifest the best thing for the collective and for all, but how we do that is by focusing on what we are manifesting for ourselves in this world. And when I'm speaking of manifesting, I'm not speaking of like, the $1 million in the car and the home. What I'm talking about is a better world and like more unification and more peace. And it's like, if you really don't like something, send love and light to that aspect. Because it's just an aspect of you being reflected back to you because you are source. But source is made up of everything. And so a lot of this is recognizing like, hey, I'm perfect just the way I am. There's just aspects of me and reflected out to me in the world that just need love and caring and light. And the idea is that behind every single person that we see walking this earth and how they're acting or whatever, there is always an inner child that needed something. Okay, it happens within all of us. And I feel like if we choose to see the soul, and now I'm saying that, I'm hearing, well, what about the going into like, Dracos and Dark Souls and things like that? I'm not going to go there. Choose to see it as, if you choose to see everyone as a light being, okay, and this is just the way I like to view it, if you choose to see everyone as a light being and with no separation, you're going to be able to see things from a completely different angle. So right now there's a lot of, galactic drama, cosmic drama that's occurring. I choose to just not really dive into it and go back into I know who I am, and I know that right now I chose to come down here because I wanted to have this really beautiful experience to help others and to grow as a soul. And so I'm going to choose to just walk my path and do what I'm going to continue to do, and allow the distraction to be a distraction because it's a part of the orchestration for me to focus back on what's going on within me, and to suit up and to be of service and to be a guide and to help others. And so there's been a lot of big, huge revelations coming through in moments that have been extremely scary, and some moments where it's like, I don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to have a roof over my head tomorrow. I don't know what I'm going to do. And a lot of that unknown dives us right back into that present moment and having to be here right now fully with yourself and go, what can I consciously do right now in order to make this a better experience for myself? That's the purpose of this. Everything that happens externally bounces you back internally to shift and to change, to grow and to evolve and to unify. So the way that many of us are choosing to create is different. Many of us, the way that we're showing up is changing. This full moon right now too has been bringing up a lot of everything you are attached to, you need to detach from. So we have to detach. We have to detach. What are you holding on to that you're still attached to? It's a big process of just surrendering everything, you know. And if you gotta cry, cry. If you need to release it all, release it all. Like, it's feeling every single nook and cranny that is within you that you are still attached to, and surrendering all of that to your higher self and to your highest good. You know, it's been one of those where there's moments where I don't want to get out of bed. There's moments where I don't want to get out of bed. There's moments where I don't want to go see the world, and it's like, it's okay. There's moments where I've just, you know, completely ran away. After I did the video, things got really, 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 really nasty for me because I had a lot of stuff to clear. And Samantha and I chose to get up and to travel to Sedona for about a week. We stayed out in Sedona, and you know, it was some of the nastiest moments that I've had in my ascension process, but it was the most beautiful because I overcame it, like through it. And she saw me, and I was pulling my hair out practically, and I thought all these nasty things were happening to me, whatever. I want to let you know that anything you go through in life, okay, as long as you hold on to the hope and you don't give up and you overcome that, you're going to come out so much stronger. You know, it's like when we ask for things from the universe, like, I want to be stronger. Well, the universe doesn't just doesn't hand you strength. What it does is it hands you an opportunity to be able to take your strength back. So, and if, you know, also too is if you want, you know, divine power, the universe is going to start pulling in experiences to you where you give your power away, so you take all of that power back. This is the difference of looking at it from a to me perspective or the for me perspective. The to me is very much so in the lower realms and the victimization aspect, and the for me is very much so an evolved, expanded state. But if you have an association to anything that's happened in your life and you feel like it was a to me, it's okay to express that fully, to turn it into a for me experience. Because I've noticed that part of this is like the steps to ascension, or, you know, many of us, we're at the bottom floor and we want to get up here right here in one jump. Well, part of that process is allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel. So if you feel like a victim, find a safe space for you to be able to let that out until you recognize how empowered you are. Because the more that you're holding on to any narrative where you were a victim and you're not openly expressing that you felt that way and still holding on to that emotion in your body and in your DNA, you're not going to be able to activate and repair that DNA. You gotta like let it go by allowing yourself to feel what you need to feel about any sort of experience. And I had a moment where someone allowed me to feel out my victimization scenario, and it empowered me so much to where now it was able for me to shift my focus. And I feel like a big part of this is that we see the way showers here. We see the people that show up that we look up to for guidance and support, and we see how they're how they're speaking and how they're acting, you know, based on what we see on this screen. Okay, we're not seeing them 24 hours a day. But we see that, or I'm going to say me. I've seen that, and then I try to embody that by just being that immediately. And the thing is that there's steps and there's progress to transformation. And I talked about this in a blog post on my webpage that's called Transformation. And it's like, when you're at the stage of a coal and you know you're going to become a diamond, the idea of transformation is we allow the coal to undergo every single process until it lands at a diamond. It can't just go from a coal and just blink go into a diamond. It's got to go through the entire alchemical process to land at the diamond. So allowing yourself to be what you are right now is the most empowering thing you can do for yourself, and not to judge the fact that you aren't a diamond yet. Because you are a diamond. You are. There is a reality out there available now in which you are a diamond. Okay? But there's a series of events that need to occur as a part of the transformation for you to become the diamond. The same with the butterfly, okay? The transformation of the butterfly. If you're a caterpillar and you're in the cocoon and you're getting broken down and all mushy, you are a butterfly. It's just the process of transformation that's occurring. And so when you allow yourself to be messy and to be gooey and to be that liquid inside of the cocoon, you're allowing yourself to be in the process of transformation, which is going to help you become a butterfly quicker. Does that make sense? Because there's a lot of judgment that we can face being like, oh, why aren't I a butterfly yet? Why aren't I here? Why aren't I da, da, da? And all of that creates resistance that we need to clear more and more and more and more and more. So let's just recognize that right now we're clearing a lot of crap. Also, with the amount of photonic light that you are holding within and the amount that is hitting the earth, your reality is going to distort, it's going to get funky. It will get dream state-like. You will see things very strange. You will feel like you're in a movie sometimes. It can feel very dreamlike. It's a part of the process. And also recognizing too that based on whatever you're clearing is going to show up in your environment. And when I say in your environment, I mean when you get up and walk out the door day to day, it's not what you watch on YouTube necessarily and what you watch on television. That's just my belief. My belief is like if you're going out and you're calling forth these experiences or interactions that you're seeing that make you feel uneasy or might trigger you, it's because that's what you're clearing at that point in time. So a lot of this is allowing ourselves to know that what is leaving right now across all reality streams until we land at the completely unified state. Okay, so a lot of us have been jumping between streams too. We're like, we're in 4D, we're in 5D, we're in 7D, we're in 9, we're back in 4, we're back in 5, and we're kind of hopping all around. Well, we've got density clear at different zones, and we got different things we do at different times and different realities. There have been many moments that I've woken up in parallel realities that are pretty horrid and pretty torturous. But once again, not a victim. It happened for me because it taught me something. And it changed my outlook on things, and it was a part of the orchestration. This is a part of the surrendering to who you are. Okay? Surrender to your soul and just allow it to happen. And it makes it a lot easier to just occur, the process. So a lot of this update was that I just needed to suit up and show up and get back on the live stream. Because after doing that testimony and everything that came through, I wasn't sure if I was ever going to hop on YouTube again. You know, there's a lot of stuff that I'm not going to go into right now, and I'm not going to recreate in my reality that occurred. But it freaked me the heck out, and I was like, I don't know if I'm going to show up ever again. So a lot of this was just showing up to do what I needed to do, because this is why I came down here. I came down here to be a guide. I came down here to embody. I came down here to do what I needed to do, and part of that is suiting up and showing up no matter what my fear is telling me I can or cannot do, or what I feel like is occurring. So a lot of that is just now suiting up and getting back into the swing of things. I had a really good group session today, so I want to let people know that group sessions are back online, but I'm holding them now twice a month, and they are updated on my website, on unifiedmasters.com. Also, so I have a new form of appointment out there too, where I'm doing one-on-one guidance sessions, and I wanted to offer that because it's more of like a talk session, like a talk therapy, energetic session. I'm not a therapist, I'm not a licensed therapist, will never say I am, but that's just the context that I'm putting it in. What it is using intuitive guidance to be able to clear out the mucky muck and gain some clarity on what's going on and some perspective in your life. So I do not do psychic readings, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you what's going on with your mom, or like, you know, if your boyfriend's cheating on you, or if this guy is your twin flame. Not going to do that. I'm going to bounce everything back to you. I will not discuss matrix programming. I will not discuss entities. I will not discuss on what is true or what's not. That's not the idea of it. The idea of it is for you to be able to find clarity of what's really going on within you, if you need that. So that's available on my website, unifiedmasters.com. And so I just wanted to let people know about that's going to be something that is available now. So there's going to be more talk sessions, and energy will be included. And if I'm called to, like, it's always an energetic exchange, and our fields will merge, and we'll be shifting things out as we're talking. But it won't be solely like going in and doing activations and stuff. And if there's something that needs to clear and I need to do light language to that, I'll use light language and other different modalities to help you shift and to gain some clarity and some insight. The idea is we want to hop you on the highest timeline possible. And so what I'm going to do is work in coordination with your higher self towards becoming that trigger and that mirror to allow to reflect back to you things that you may potentially need to work on to make sure that we land you in your highest timeline available to you now. So with that, I'm going to go through and read the comments and see if I can see it. Yeah, it does feel like it will never end. By the way, hello everyone. Yeah, everyone's been gone for me too. I'm going to talk about that a little bit too. Hello, Terry. Let's see. Well, the light pouring in, that's definitely from this. I'm anchoring light into this right now. Oh, thank you, Willow. It's good to see you guys too. So yeah, so I'm gonna say the abandonment wound is coming up. I love that, Bridget. Thank you. The abandonment wound is coming up. I've lost a lot of friends recently too. I wouldn't say lost. It's just like everyone parted the ways. But what it did was it's because anything that is a distraction or everything that you're attaching to is going to have to go right now, so you can go back within and to discover what you need to discover. So that is definitely occurring. Another thing that's happening too is any distorted dogmatic principality is going to come up for review. So especially when we're discussing, the anchoring of Christ consciousness, crystalline, whatever. We're basically putting so many different names and labels on one thing, which is just this whole process. Any savior distortion, any martyrdom programming, anywhere you crucify yourself, anywhere you allow that to occur has to come up and to be cleared at deeper and deeper and deeper levels until you say no. A lot of it isn't going to show up because you need to clear too. It's going to show up to see if you're actually going to give into that anymore too. I'm so sorry, Sarah. It's thank you, Chelsea. Love you too, hon. Yeah, right now it's very insane what's occurring. A lot of people are going through this. I have a friend who just lost, her cat's been lost for 24 hours, and there's a lot of pet stuff coming to the surface. Once again, I just want to say it's happening for you, not to you. Okay? It's happening for a greater purpose, and we have to just hold on to that. A lot of this ascension process is on a need-to-know basis, okay? And I'm learning that. Shit will happen to you, and you're like, why the heck is this happening to me? And you will get no clarity on why it's occurring. Or you're like, I need guidance on this, and you hear nothing. It's because sometimes we're meant to just trust. And part of that trusting is not knowing what's on the other side, but allowing the process to occur. And a lot of this stuff it's all happening because we may not see it right now, but I always say this, and I've said this many times before. We learn going forward and we understand backwards. So it's not until we get to the end that we look back and we go, oh yeah, I see why that all occurred now. And sometimes it's years down the road that you start to put all the pieces back together. But really at the end of the day, like if everyone's leaving you, or everyone is being displaced out of your reality and you're left alone, it could also be to go find new people. We don't fully know why consciously every single person, gets dispelled from our lives, but there might be a really great reason for both of you that you both needed in order to grow and evolve and to expand. And right now is a big time of creating space. So for us, Samantha and I, we said F it with our apartment, and we've been cleaning the crap out of the apartment for 3 days, throwing stuff away, getting rid of things. This is all creating space because there's so much new arriving, so much new available here. We wanted to create that energetically. So a lot of that is that anything from the old world or any associations with the old world has to go now. And you're never really alone. Exactly, you're never really alone, and that's the biggest thing too. Is you're never really alone. Alone is a perception, but I get where Sarah's coming from because I go through this so much. I can say that right now because I'm in a good headspace and I'm in a high vibration. But one thing happens to me, bam! I will start crying to the world about how alone I am. But then something always occurs. Something comes in and reminds me of how loved and protected and guided that I am, and it always shows up in the perfect time. And so I will tell you right now, you're never alone, and you can always reach out. Anyone on here that needs to reach out can reach out. And I'll tell you what, if I don't get back to you, because I've offered this many times and people have contacted me and I haven't gotten back to them, it's not because something was happening, or there's something personal to you. There's other things that happen in our lives that we have to attend to, and sometimes I'll open up an email and I'll read it and I go, I need to get back to this person, and then I forget. So, And it is a roller coaster right now too. So it's very much so moment to moment. You'll be happy one moment, really sad the next moment. This is why people keep saying focus on your joy. The biggest guidance has been focus on your joy and do what you love to do. A good routine that I'm doing now is I'm waking up in the morning and I'm doing something that I love to do unconditionally to set the mood for the day, and then I keep going. A lot of this is having to reset too. So because, once again, you'll be living in your joy, and then something, an aspect of you that needs to get worked on will come forward. You go through that experience to raise the vibration of it, to, there's facets and folds to it. But right now it's really going, okay, I've got all these tools in my toolkit and I need to apply them now. So when something throws me off, take a step back, recenter, refocus, keep going. For me, it's been really intentional with my energy work, clearing my energy body regularly. First thing in the morning, before I get out of bed, I'm connecting to Source, I'm connecting to Tara, and I am clearing my field, I'm clearing my astral body, I'm closing down portals from the night before, and I'm smudging myself immediately. And then I sit there and I kind of I'll pick up my guitar and I'll play some music, or I'll do something. I'm not staying hydrated too well. I suck at staying hydrated, but thank you for reminding me of staying hydrated. Is doing something I love to do, so I'll pick up and I'll play my guitar in the morning, or I'll do something inspirational, things that I love to do to get me in my joy. And sometimes it takes about an hour and a half or 2 hours to get myself in that right optimal spot, and then I can get going about my day. And anytime that I start to notice myself shift, it's like, okay, your reality is getting out of alignment. Get it back into alignment now. So I'll pause, I'll go outside, I'll go walk in nature, I will meditate for a little bit, I'll connect, I'll run light through me. Whatever I need to do to get myself back to where I need to go. And what's going to happen is it's going to get easier and easier. This is about aligning your realities. So what will happen is as we go about our day and we're clearing more and more cellular stuff, and we're clearing and clearing and clearing more and more and more, what's going to happen is we're going to get to a point where everything is just going to be in flow. We've been so out of flow for a long time that to go from being out of sync to in complete flow sometimes requires us having to wobble back and forth until we get everything perfectly aligned in our reality. So that means that if we want that highest vibrational reality, we want everything that we want on one timeline. That means that everything has to be unified in our reality. Every relationship has to be unified. Every aspect of us has to be unified. Every business decision has to be unified. Every dollar you spend has to be unified. And that's a process that takes, I'm going to say it right now, takes time. There's no such thing as time. Well, as it's been explained to me by my guides, I'm going to state it again. There's a series of now moments that need to occur in order for an event to unfold. Okay. So once again, that takes a process of a bunch of now moments strung together that create time, or the illusion of time. Okay. So in order to align your reality, that means that everything out of alignment is going to come forward, so you just get everything balanced, and then it just kind of starts to go and flow with itself. And that process takes a series of moments to get everything in alignment. That means getting your thoughts in alignment, getting your energy in alignment, getting every little single nook and cranny in alignment. And just when you think that you've cleared something, there's another little bit of dirt and dust that comes up that needs to be ignited and needs to be illuminated. And that process, I'm recognizing, it's like we're just constantly doing it, but what's going to happen now is we're going to get to a point where the clearing is occurring, we're just allowing it to occur. And we're just like, you know what, right now, it's, at the end of the day, we can all report on all these different things going on in energy streams, and at the end of the day, it's really weird right now. And I don't see it getting unweird any moment soon for those of us that are in the embodiment phase, and those that are working up in the higher realms. It's just weird. So weird is the new norm, and we've got to accept it. Okay, life is weird, it's very moment to moment right now, I don't know. And be okay with that. And just kind of like a lot of it is accepting, like, okay, collectively it's strange. Everyone's psychic abilities are coming online. There's so much stuff clearing. It's like, okay, it's always clearing. And we have so much unconscious stuff that we're clearing from this lifetime, ancestral karma, and then we're diving into galactic Akashic stuff that we're clearing. And when you go into the galactic Akash and your cosmic Akashic, like all of your star lineage stuff, that's when it gets really strange, okay? And that's where I'm at. I'm at the point where I'm like, I don't know half of this stuff, because it wasn't told to me. But I'm just like, okay, yeah, like that was a weird dream I had, that was a weird experience I had, like, you know, seeing people shape-shifting, and it's just like, okay, I'm just allowing this to occur now. For me, not to me. And trying to not live in as much fear as possible. And the video that I wanted to do the other day, to discuss, and I'm going to discuss it here, is about seeking safety. Okay, so I always tune into one thing I was taught, because of the behavioral health community and because of drug and alcohol addiction and with rehabs, is Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And it always talks about the foundation for self-actualization or enlightenment is safety. Okay, so right now it's very important to make sure that you feel safe in everything that you are doing, because that's where you can start to expand, by feeling safe. So making sure that you are landing in environments that are making you feel safe, you're connecting with people that are making you feel safe. For us, it's been like there was a few days for us where it did not feel safe in our area because of the stuff that was kicking about, the stuff that was going on. We had some very weird stuff going on with grid work and things showing up and messing with me, and it got hairy for a few days. I did not feel safe, and so what did we do? We went against everything that everyone's telling us, and we packed up and we traveled for a week and came back. But we needed that. Part of this is, what length are you going to go to regardless of external circumstances in order to feel safe? Okay, so making sure you are feeling comfortable in your day-to-day is going to be the first and foremost. You cannot get to that point of self-actualization and get to that point of true expansion and higher self-embodiment until you feel safe in your body. It is so important to feel safe in your body. Another thing that's coming up right now about the body stuff, and then I'm gonna sign off after this, is with DNA activations, okay? So when your DNA comes online and it gets activated, it does take an action in order to repair your DNA. And so you might be called to travel, or you might be called to make a change in your environment. That is because you are creating that connection point, the action for the DNA to repair itself. That's when the unprogramming process occurs and starts, where you start to deprogram and new programs come online and all the healing packets associated with that action step. So for us, it was about traveling. Okay, so we knew that our action step for this DNA repair was going to require us to travel. So we traveled and we started that process. Once we stepped into that action, that's when all those old programs started to kick off. Okay, and that's when the clearing started to occur, and it got nasty. It got really nasty, and feeling all these things, and crying and feeling like I was gonna die, and just all of those things that are occurring. And then what starts to happen is it starts to repair, and then the gifts start to come back online. A big part of this, though, is that right now, so many of us, a big focus has been on the body and the brain stimulus. There's a lot of mind control clearing aspects that are coming to the surface right now in the collective. Okay, this has been a big one. So because of that, we need to take care of our mind. That means including what we're ingesting, anything that's involved with fear, anything that's involved with old, outdated stuff, is going to affect the process of your cellular regeneration in your DNA, repairing your DNA. Also, too, what you are ingesting. So things like caffeine, things like nicotine, any stimulants, alcohol, gluten, sugar, animal products are going to affect the entire process of you rewriting your DNA. And I state this as someone who is still a vapor, who still loves coffee, and this is up for debate. But I'm going to say this, that the brain stimulus can get in the way of the activations, and it can affect the way that you are perceiving what is going on in this world. So that's what they do. They use chemicals in our food, in our yes, chaga mushrooms. I want to try them. I've not tried them yet. But they use chemicals in our food to basically attack the mind. Yeah, I don't want to say attack the mind. We program that into our reality so we can take our power back. Okay, and this is once again having to change the way I'm viewing and shaping things. Lion's mane. I've heard about lion's mane. I need to try that. Thank you. So about this now is that is reducing the brain stimulus so we can start to activate the heart center. For many of us, this is very tricky. So for me, I'm trying again to eliminate everything out of my diet that isn't good. I'm actually trying on Monday. I'm not going to say try. I'm going to do it this time, no matter how painful and grueling it is. But it's because everything that is keeping you out of the heart needs to go, because it is creating a skew in how you are perceiving the world, how you're perceiving what's being reflected to you, but also the messages that are coming through. If you have any of that brain stimulus going on that's over-affected, you might be seeing things in a completely skewed way that are kind of altering or hindering your reality. And I start to notice how much this is affecting me based on if I have, certain things in my system, like too much sugar, too much caffeine, and it pushes me into that fight or flight response, I may be more responsive to a trigger in a different way, and thus be creating that more into my reality. Um, and so anyways, it's really right now is reducing the brain stimulus in order to be able to activate the heart center. So we can allow our DNA to come online fully. As I've seen, the 12-strand DNA and 12-strand plus DNA activations have already occurred in humanity, but it's about the action steps that need to be taken for us to clear and to get all of that rewiring process to occur. And a lot of that is changes in diet, changes in relationships, taking any guided action steps. So once again, for me, one of mine has been to go travel. So I started that process, and I know I have another adventure that I need to go take to get more of my DNA repaired, and that's something that I programmed into my reality. So for you, it might be changing your job. It might be ending your relationship. It might be changing your diet. Whatever guided action you're chosen to take is what is going to start the process of the deprogramming, the healing, the clearing, and the reprogramming of your cellular memory. So another thing I wanted to talk about there is the cellular activations, and more to be revealed on that as more and more is coming online. But right now, it's very important to just surrender to your light body, surrender to your soul. And that means allowing yourself to walk your path. That's been the biggest one. Is I had these big revelations lately of like things that I've been connected to in the past, realizations of nasty stuff that has happened in my life, and it's like, well, I have a choice here. I can either keep fighting my soul, or I can allow my soul to come all the way in. And a lot of it wasn't that was really going on. It was just reflecting to me a form of war that I was having between my mind and my soul. And once I surrendered to that and I allow it to come in to take place, things start to just improve around me. So let's stop fighting who we are and fighting each other, and just allow ourselves to be the soul in body, and allow everyone the space to do what they need to do to figure out what they need to figure out. That's what I really see. And also recognizing that right now we have an option. We can either keep feeding into this like second wave of pandemic coming through, or we can choose to create something new for ourselves. And if you are consciously not focusing on that, and you're trying to create a better reality for yourself, and it shows up, that is not a reflection of you, that's a reflection of the collective. Okay. So, but to be able to get everyone online and on board towards recognizing that they're the ones that are creating all of this stuff into their reality, and about collective wildcards too, that's not our job. Our job is to focus on ourselves and to speak our truth, and to help people to wake up to who they really are, to take their power back. Here's the thing is that our power wouldn't be stripped from us if we didn't have it in the first place. Beautiful way to look at it. If we came down here entirely powerless, do you think people would be coming in and creating these power struggles? These power struggles occur because we are powerful. So let's remember that. Let's take our power back and go, okay, how am I consciously creating my reality, and how can I consciously create a reality that is going to support every single individual on this earth to do what they came down here to do, and to be themselves authentically and unconditionally without harming other people, and without projecting and hurting and destroying, but creating this safe, supportive environment where we can all agree to disagree together. That's the contrast. And the contrast is necessary for us to evolve as a soul. Contrast is important for us to be able to see all sides of the spectrum, so that we land at that center point and we come back to that unification and we come back together. It's taking all the puzzle pieces, putting them back together, coming back to source, and then we wake up and we get out of here and we go off and we do the next venture. We move up to the next density. So at the end of the day, we just need to allow ourselves to be ourselves. Whether you are, just be you. Just be you and shine your light. That's all you need to do. Like, at the end of the day, we came down here to just shine our light. So it's just to come down here, to live in your joy, to be you authentically, and to express that in however way, shape, or form you need to. Now, I know it gets more complicated than that because of our individual experiences and our scenarios and our fears and our traumas and the ego, and it gets complicated. But at the end of the day, it's very, very simple. Come down here, be you authentically, love, and go about your day. And watch how everything aligns. Be compassionate. Show empathy to the person that is, freaking out on the street, or to the person that may not fully remember who they are yet. Empathy can go a long way. And by empathy, I don't mean that hey, we just become an empathic sponge, but being able to not feel someone's pain, but feel for someone, but not from a spot of they are lacking in any way, shape, or form, but knowing that they're just a soul trying to figure it out, just like I'm a soul trying to figure it out, just like you're a soul trying to figure it out. We're all just trying to figure it out. Okay, so let's not beat each other up over it. Let's learn from our lessons and be able to grow from our differences and allow ourselves to just be who we are, and not try to label one as good or bad or any of those constructs. Just allow that person to be that person, because once again, man-made construct, and we need to stop creating that into our reality. And sometimes that means saying that these things don't exist, not because we're saying it doesn't exist and we're bypassing it, it's because we want it to go, and by focusing on it continually over and over again, we're recreating that into our reality in all of those experiences. So it's not to bypass and say like, hey, this doesn't exist, but it's like, no, I want to create something else for myself, so I'm not going to allow that belief into my reality stream. Plain and simple. We need to do this as a collective, together, in order to get to that end point where it doesn't happen anymore. And then also own our crap. We collectively manifest some pretty weird things into our reality, and it's not funny. I'm kind of laughing about it because when you see it from a higher perspective, it kind of is, but it isn't. Pain, torture, torment, death, tears, feelings of unsafety, all that stuff is not funny. But by us spreading more love to the entire world, and not in some like hippy dippy like, yeah, we're all love, bro, but like recognize, sometimes loving is being like, hey, I don't agree with you, but I'm gonna allow you to be you and figure it out. We're giving that person the power to let them be themselves and to know that they're walking their path and they're gonna figure out what they need to figure out in their time, not in my time, but in their time. And so a lot of this is just mending those pieces within, all that separation, coming back into oneness and being okay with that. Being okay with being source in body, which is weird, it's strange, and there's those moments where you're like, I'm super source in body, and then the next day you wake up and you're back to being the human again. It's a part of the process. But we get those little glimpses of what is to come to be able to keep us going. And I've had a few of those glimpses lately where it was like super like higher self in body source, like I am all, and then like wake up the next day and I'm like, oh, what the fuck, dude? It's because I got that glimpse of what is to come in that higher and better version, and it was that sign from my guidance saying, just keep going. It's closer than you know, but you need to allow the process to unfold in the way that it's supposed to unfold. Allow every domino piece that is aligned to go down and to create the orchestration that is the domino rally. So I love you all unconditionally. Anything else to say? No, nothing else to say. So I love you all. Thank you for holding tight. Other things coming online, nothing, I'm just learning not to promise anything or to say that anything is to come, because things are changing moment to moment and day to day. And one moment, something I want to create that's fully in alignment now may not be in alignment tomorrow. So when I show up, I show up. When I have group sessions, they're going to be listed on my webpage. If you guys need anything, reach out. With that, I'm done. I'm going to read the chat really quick, see what else will pop. Just a bunch of it. Celery is like nature's selenite. Yeah, but with celery, you need top teeth to eat celery, and I don't have top teeth. I own it. And all this mushroom talk is really cool. I love the fungi kingdom. Let's just say that. So thank you all. I love you guys. If you need anything, please. Celery juice. Thank you, Karen. You rock. I appreciate you. Yes, I have been making smoothies. A lot of smoothies. It's been a lot of smoothies occurring lately, and definitely going to be doing some juicing to help to detox. So I love you all. I'm out of here. I'm going to separate my energy. Let this be here. If you need anything, reach out. Sessions are wide open. Could definitely use the support. It's been kind of a struggle lately. So definitely, if you need anything. I love you too. Love you. I love all of you so much. Love my tribe. And with that, I'll see you guys in another moment of no.